It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Rabbi Yisroel Azar. We're here
It's not my. It's not. It's Hebrew. My last name was changed. It was originally Ozarovich, but now it's Azar.
Azarovich. And Rabbi, you were born in Belgium.
I myself was born in Belgium in 1932. 2 years earlier, my parents had arrived from Poland to Belgium, and I was born in Brussels. When they came to Belgium, they had already one child who was older than me, 6 years or so. And also, I had another brother, 2 years younger than I. In 1940, when the Germans invaded Belgium, that is in May 1940, we fled to the train station and went up to the train which took us to France, southern France, to a little town called Luchon in the Pyrenees, before the Spanish frontier. After a few weeks, the French surrendered to the Germans, and all refugees who were in France were taken to concentration camps. We also were taken to one called Rivesaltes, camp de concentration, camp concentration, Rivesaltes, near Perpignan, near the town Perpignan. That was in 1940, June or so, 1940. After a few months, my father fled the camp to look for work, and we remained in the camp. Now, the camp was divided into two parts, one for men and the other part for women and children. My greater brother, Samuel, was with our father in the men's barracks, and I and my younger brother were with our mother in the mother's barrack. We actually had nothing to do, but as it is known, France was divided in two parts. The southern part was under the Vichy regime, and the French Jews were free, and they had their own organizations, and that one, which is called OSE, O-S-E, which means Œuvre de secours aux enfants, deeds of help for children. And they, members of that organization, or their organization, first I have to tell another thing. My older brother, who remained alone in the men's barrack after our father had fled the camp, in the months of August or September, I don't know exactly, died. He died of sickness, but really because for lack of help and just starving. As I said, all the organization had made few children institutions for Jewish children. And first I was taken to one of these children homes or institution. And later on, my younger brother was, he came also to this place. It's called Château des Morel in Brouvernet, near Vichy. Actually, it was near Vichy, the town Vichy. As I arrived there in the evening, I saw for the first time children who were praying Arbit, the Arbit prayer. And for me, it was completely new. I had no knowledge at all about Judaism. At home, nothing of the religion was kept by our parents. I knew nothing about religion. Then came up to me the main female monitor and said to me, I see that you eat without giving the blessing. And I said, it's right. She asked why. I said, because I don't know it. And then she asked me whether I would like to learn it. I said yes. And she taught me the blessing of bread, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And that was the first thing in Judaism that I met. She took it to herself to teach me to say the prayers, reading Hebrew, writing, and taught me all all things that you teach a child who doesn't know anything.
Rav, do you remember her name?
No?
Do you remember her name?
Mademoiselle Cohn. Her name was Mademoiselle Cohn. She was the main female monitor.
And when was this? This was in the middle of the war? This was still in the middle of the war? When did this happen? When were you?
That was the end of 41. That was the end of 41. Then, in the summer of 42, a police officer came to that institution where I was with a list of 10 children and said he's supposed to take us to Rivdalt, to the camp which we came from. We asked, what's all about? Why do you take us? Why do you take us? He said he doesn't know anything about it. Just he has a list, he's supposed to take us, and that's what he has to do. We were taken to the camp. I myself, not my brother, and that's what I remember. We were 10 of us, but maybe it's not exact. When we came to the camp, I saw my mother. I met my mother, who remained alone by herself in the camp. And then she showed me a letter which had arrived one day earlier from my father. She said to me to read it, and I said I can't read Yiddish. So she read it to me, and it was said in this letter that my father was supposed to be taken the next day somewhere, he doesn't know where. That's it. No, my father never returned. Never returned.
You never saw him again?
yes, he did return. Well, after he didn't return to Belgium or anywhere. We don't know what happened to him. There is no regime, nothing nothing written about him. I knew then that for me it was the last time that I could see my mother, because it was known, and I knew also, that the Jews were deported from France. The Jews, from now, who were refugees, were sent to Poland, to the east, and are killed there. I myself was taken about that Azar organization, because I was examined medically, and they said there's something wrong with my reot, what do you call that? Lungs, yeah. So they took me and another child to an institution called Preventorium, which is to prevent the sickness of which is connected with lungs. What is the sickness?
Pneumonia?
Pneumonia? Pneumonia, yeah. And we were taken to a place, to a children's institution in the Pyrenees, where there is better air for us. That was the Catholic institution, and we were taken there this time as Jewish children. When we arrived there, the director of the place said to us, since we are Jewish, we will not be supposed to take part in any religious practice, and not only that, but he said, you will be given a room where every day you will be able to make your own prayers, and on Saturdays there is a little town where there is also, there are Jews, and you will go on Saturdays to their synagogues, and probably you will be invited to meals on Shabbat. And it was so for some time. The other child, who was with me, was older than me. I was 10 at the time, in 1942. He was already bar mitzvah. And he was returned to the Jewish institution, to Chateau de Morel, from where we were taken to the camp. And I remained by myself, alone. Until I don't remember exactly, but I was there for about half a year. At least I was there half a year. When I was left alone, after some time, I stopped to go on Shabbat to this town. I didn't want to go by myself. And then arrived Yom Kippur. And on this year, according to my knowledge, I thought that Yom Kippur would be on Saturday. No, on Sunday. When on that year, it was Monday. There was a Goy monitor who said to me on Sunday, "Today is your Yom Kippur." He also had a mistake about the day. Maybe maybe he meant that Yom Kippur would start in the evening. I don't know. Anyway, how do you say? I didn't eat on the day.
You fasted.
You
fasted.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't eat on the day. But sometime later, a few weeks or so, I went to the town, and they had a rabbi there, and I went to see him. And he said to me, "You were lucky that you didn't come on Yom Kippur to the synagogue, because on that day, French policemen had come and arrested who were in the synagogue. Those who succeeded to flee fled. The other one were taken. And those who were taken were deported to Poland. So you were lucky that you didn't come."
it was a nice. A miracle, a real miracle. It was a nice that you didn't go. A miracle. It was a miracle.
They were taken to Auschwitz.
But a miracle that you didn't go. It's a miracle that you didn't go.
Yeah. That was my luck that I didn't come. So, sometime later, I was returned. Someone came to take me back to Chateau de Morel, to the Jewish institution. And we stayed there until nearly end of 43. At that time, the Germans were also taking the French Jews to be sent to Auschwitz. So they had to end this home institution, and all children were sent to different places. Anyway, I, my brother, and another child, Daniel Itzkovich, the other one. My brother was called Maurice. We were sent to a Catholic school as Catholic children. We had to change our names. We had to invent stories about where we are from. And we were sent to a Catholic school, a Catholic school institution, which was a private institution of Catholic religion. And we stayed there until summer of 44.
Do you remember the name of the...
We changed our names. My name was Yisroel Ozarovich. I changed it to Israel, to Jacques Azar. Azar is not a French name, but it has a French, how do you call it? It sounds in French. It sounds French.
And your brother?
Now, I had a story about the name that I took. Once, a French institution, a French Catholic institution was operated by Franciscan priests. So once he called me, Ozarm. You know what that is, Ozarm? Mm-hmm. The French, that is part of the French national hymn. Allons enfants de la patrie, aux armes les citoyens, aux armes to the army is the army is Amlach, Kli Milchama.
Like a war theme. It's a war song.
The war tools.
Yeah.
Ozarm. And I had another story. We used to say a few times during the day, rosary, that is a prayer which is repeated 10 times at once. In the morning, a few times in the day. It's a Catholic prayer. Notre Père qui est au ciel, que votre volonté arrive, que votre volonté soit faite sur la terre comme sur le ciel. Priez pour nous, pauvres pécheurs, maintenant et à l'heure de notre mort, ainsi soit-il. Then once it was said before started the lectures, the school lectures. And what we were all of us, the whole class, was saying this prayer. And then the priest who led the prayer and who was teaching us, he called me up and said, "You there, de quel pays sortez-vous? From what place do you come here?" I didn't know what he wanted from me. Then he said, "You don't know that you have to make the cross sign with your right arm, you make it with your left arm." Then I knew that you will always be able to learn something. Because I thought that I know everything about the religion.
Rav, can I ask you, what was the name of the institution?
That was a private school. The private school, Catholic school of the place where it was. Kenya, that is the name of the place. Kenya. It has no French. It's not a real French the way they speak. But anyway, that was the name of the town, Kenya, in the middle of France, in the department of Puy-de-Dôme.
Did the other boys know that you were Jewish? Did the other children know that you were Jewish?
So far, they were not supposed to know that I'm Jewish. I was the older one. But, well, that was not a great city. And the children there were not well, they were quite low. We were, let's say, in a higher position. We also used to be taken to the church of the town, where the main priest, the main Catholic priest of the church taught us about the religion, about Catholic religion. He told us stories about Jesus, and in many things, many parts of what he was talking about, I helped him. I helped him. Then once, that was, we were already quite some time before we left that school. The director of the institute of the school where we were told me that what do you call him? Not the priest, the main clergyman in a church. How do you call him? A comer.
The comer, yeah.
How do you say Bengali? Not priest. Well, he said he wants to meet you. He wants me to come to him. I came to him. And then he said, say, he was an old man. He was a man, I suppose, in his 70s or something like that. He asked me, are you a Catholic? I said, I don't know. He asked me these questions because I didn't want to go to confession. Do you know what confession is? I didn't want to go to confession. And all Catholics have to confess before Passover, because they're Passover.
The Easter.
And I said that no, I don't want to go. So that is why he wanted me to come to him and asked me whether I'm Catholic. I said, I don't know really, because at home we were not religious. Then he says, you want to be Catholic? I said, that is something that certainly I cannot do by myself. I have to ask family, my family about that. Then he said to me, where do you come from? I didn't want to say that I'm from Belgium. I prepared a story where I say that I'm from Lille. Lille is the French northern city before Belgium. I said, I'm from Lille. He said, you are from Lille? Where did you live? Where do you live in Lille? I said, no, not Lille, near Lille. And he said to me, in the First World War, in 1918, he was a religious functionary in the army, and they were in Lille. He knows Lille. So he asked me, I thought, did you live in Lille? I said, well, not Lille, around Lille. Well, he understood already. He knew everything he knew everything about me. Then he said, "You want to learn about our religion?" I said, "Yes, why not?" Then he said, "Okay, as we shall learn together about religion." And I thought, "Okay, thank you." And then I left, and I was afraid. I was still much afraid, because sometime before, earlier, a German unit had come to the town because there was partisans functions, and I was afraid they would deliver me to the Germans. I wasn't sure they wouldn't do it. I really took that. I thought about it, and I was quite afraid of it. But in July '44, there is school, how do you call the חופש?
The break, the holiday.
Holiday, yeah. They all left the school. Our children were left the school, and we were also taken to somewhere, to a city, Limoges. When we arrived to Limoges, I met children, older ones, that I knew from Brouvernet, from the Château de Morel. And then they told us that we were on our way to Spain, and to go to Palestine. And that happened. We were taken to Toulouse, which is in the south of France. And then from Toulouse, we were taken to the Pyrenees, to the
mountain.
The mountains of Pyrenees.
Were you with your brother? You were with your brother?
Yeah, I was yes. I was with my brother and the other child too, Daniel, also Oskevich. We were about 6 or 7, I don't remember exactly.
And what year was this?
Huh?
When did this happen? What year?
That was 44. That was July 44, end of July, I think. Anyway, we crossed the Pyrenees, the mountains of Pyrenees, with Spanish mavrichim, how do you call them? Mavrichim. People who transfer from one country to the other one. How do you call them?
Maybe smugglers?
Smugglers.
And who was in charge of you? Who was the adults who were in charge of, who did you go with? Were the madrichim? Who were the madrichim that took you? Or
which madrichim?
You were with your brother and other children, but was there an organization that took you, or were there?
Yeah, the organization took us. Yeah, the organization was organized. The They were in many places in France. So we were taken from that city, Limoges, to Toulouse. In Toulouse, we stayed a few times. We stayed with I remember, with a French Jewish lady who took care of us. And then someone took us by train, Carcassonne by car we went. Well, anyway, we arrived to that place where the smugglers took us to Spain, but not directly to Spain, by Andorra. First to Andorra, from Andorra then to Spain. And we arrived there in Spain in 1943.
44?
In 1944. August, called after July.
August.
I met there a friend of mine who was with me in the Jewish institution in France. And after we changed informations where we had been there and there, then we said together, we are going to be religious. We are going to be religious. He was from a religious home, and that that stayed with us. Okay. Then in November 44, you arrived to Palestine.
Did you come on a boat?
The boat had come from Portugal, Lisbon, and part of the Jews who had been smuggled first to Spain, then until some time were transferred to Portugal, and then after some time they did continue to send to Portugal, but stayed in Spain. So first we were in Lerida. From Lerida we were taken to no. The great port city on the Mediterranean in Spain. There's a great soccer players, what do you call it?
Barcelona?
Huh?
In Barcelona? Barcelona.
In Spain.
In Spain. Barcelona.
Barcelona. Barcelona. And from Barcelona, they were taken to Cadiz, which is in the south of Spain. And in Cadiz, we boarded the boat which had come from Portugal. And we arrived.
Do you remember the name of the boat?
Yeah, sure. Guinea. The boat was Guinea. There had been, that was the boat of November 1944. There was an earlier boat in February 44. Right now, I don't remember the name of that boat. It will come to me later on. That was we were in the second one, Guinea. We arrived on November 4th, which was Shabbat, and the boat stayed away from the port. It didn't went into the port until Sunday morning, which was the 5th of November. During the mandate, the port of Haifa, it was not working on Shabbat. It is working now, but it was not working during this mandate. So that's my story.
And was it illegal that you came? Was it illegal?
Yeah.
Because the British didn't allow.
We arrived legally because we were the last visas according to the white paper. According to the white paper, which was done in 1939, it said that there is room only for 75,000 Jews to arrive, not one more than that. There is no room more than 75, and our visas were between the last ones, part of the last ones. So we arrived legally, and but we were taken first to the camp of Athlete for, I remember, 10 days or so. Then, all newcomers to Palestine at that time were divided according to the Jewish parties here in Israel, in Palestine. I remember that I was taken to a barrack. There was a long table, and around the table were people, Jewish people, and asked me, "Where do you want to go?" And I said, I want Mizrahi. I want Mizrahi because I remember that on the boat on our way to Palestine, someone told us, if you want to go to a religious place, say that you are a Mizrahi. There was an older friend of us in our group. He was older than me. I was at that time 12 and a half. He was about 14 or maybe 15. He said, I'm not going to say Mizrahi. I'm going to say Apoel Mizrahi. He knew about that. I didn't know anything about Paul Mizrahi or Paul Mizrahi. So we were taken from Athlete to a religious Aliyah institution in Kfar HaRo'eh. In Kfar HaRo'eh, which was called Yakir, who was institute. It was formed with us. We were the first ones in Yakir.
And did your brother go with you? Your brother was also with you in Kfar Ro'eh?
My younger brother, he was with me. But my younger brother didn't have the luck I had to be taught by that Mademoiselle Korn. I was the one who taught him to pray. Well, anyway, he didn't stay religious like me, but that is another story. Actually, my brother departed, he's dead for 10 years. It's going to be, no, for 11 years. He was in 2002. Well, he made quite an academic well, anyway, he was professor of linguist in Haifa, but he is another story.
And how long were you in Kfar Ro'eh? How long did you remain in Kfar Ro'eh?
In Kfar Ro'eh we stayed for less than 2 years. Well, the story in Israel is another one.
And when did you hear about your mother?
What did I know? When did I know about my mother? Well, I didn't know anything until Serge Klarsfeld. There is Serge Klarsfeld.
I met him.
You know him?
I know, I met him. Yeah.
Oh, you met him? He made a book, La déportation des Juifs de France, the deportation of Jews from France to Auschwitz. And he made, there is about 80 lists of deportations. And my mother is in the 34. She was taken through always all the Jews deported from France to Auschwitz were taken first to a place not far from Paris, which is called
Drancy? Drancy?
Drancy. From Drancy, she was taken from Rivesaltes to Drancy, and from Drancy to Auschwitz, and she arrived, according to the book of Serge Klarsfeld, she arrived, I don't remember the general date, but according to the Jewish date, it's the 7th Zayin Tishrei 1944. That is September 1944. The transport 34. So my mother is mentioned there. She's registered there. So that's what I know. Well, I want to add something. I said we lived in Belgium. Actually, with us lived my mother's sister, who had a daughter. When she lived together with us in the same place, the same house. When we fled Belgium, they came with us. And then, when we were in Rivesaltes, we departed, we were separated. And I didn't know whatever happened to that daughter,
It's aunt.
Tent, and their child, Rose. His name was Rose. But we didn't know anything about her. Then some 15 years ago, or something like that, I don't remember exactly the year, Rose, she was looking after us, and she found us 15 years ago. She found actually my brother. And we met, she came to see us with her husband. The husband was not Jewish, but he came to us to see us. And we were in touch. And then she came another time too. Meanwhile, her husband died, and she came with a friend of her, the French female woman with her. And then I went to see her too, with one of my sons.
She lives in France? She lives in France? Where does she live?
She is in California.
In California?
She is in California. She came to America because after the war, we had no relatives at all. All our relatives were left in my father's relatives remained in Poland. And they were all killed on one day. On one day, the whole family was exterminated. And we knew nothing about my mother's family. But we had mother's family in America. And actually, we had some connection, and we interchanged some letters. But she, as she told us, she had remained in first of all, that tent of ours. She was also sent to Auschwitz, but her daughter was saved, and after the war she remained in France, and after 2 years she went to America to her parents. Actually, not aunts and uncles. We had uncles in America. And she went to uncles in America. But they didn't it didn't work out. It didn't work out rightly. So she left them. Anyway, she had her own story.
Is she still alive?
Today, my son, with his family, came to see us, and he told me about her. She's still alive. She's still in California. But she is younger, 2 years younger than me. I'm 92, she's 90. But she isn't quite right. She has help, woman's help. And my son isn't in connection with her. He speaks every word every week or so. So she doesn't feel well, a little bit sick. I'm still quite healthy, Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. And does she have a family?
Huh?
She has children?
No. She had a daughter, and she's left alone. She's left alone. Not only that, she told me that she has, a contract with burying people that after death, her death, she will be burnt. That's it.
Wow, so sad. But when you met her, it was when she came to visit you.
Yeah.
It was very emotional. It was a good meeting when you met her.
Yeah, we met. She said to me that from Belgium, I was 8, she was 6, and earlier than that. When she was 5 and I was 7, she was in love with me, and she remained so until now.
It is so special. And looking back, you're happy that you came to Eretz Yisrael. You happy you came. You're grateful you came to Eretz Yisrael. That you came with your brother here. That you came to live here.
I know.
You're very happy that you came to Israel to live in Israel.
How did I come to Israel?
No, you're happy.
If I'm happy, yeah. Not only that, when we were in Spain, we were asked, where do you want to go? In America, or France, in America, or Israel, or maybe you want to go back to where you came from. I and my brother, we said we want to go to Palestine. So that's how we are here.
And who helped you in Spain? Which organization helped you?
The Joint.
There was a joint?
The Joint. It was the Joint and the Jewish institution in Israel, in Palestine.
The Sochnut, maybe?
The Sochnut, Joint and Sochnut.
So, Rav, can I just ask you, can you give, what message do you impart? What message do you give to your children and grandchildren? What message do you give?
What
message do you give?
What message? Only 2 days ago, my granddaughter in Eli, she called me up and she said she's going to Poland and she asked me whatever I have to say. She wants. Well, I said what I said before. The main thing that remained with me from all my childish experience is what I met my friend in Lerida in Spain, and we said together, we are going to stay religious. That was important.
And you kept your emunah always. You've always kept your emunah. You've always kept your emunah.
Yeah.
And your children are from Rav, I just want to thank you. It has been so special to be here with you. I am so grateful. Rav, if I can just thank you. Rav, I am so grateful to you. If I can ask you, could I get a bracha from you? Because you are so holy and you are so special. And Rav, your story is so touching and so unbelievable. The nisim, the miracles that you're alive and you're smiling, and you are an example for all of us to emulate. You really are. But Rav, if you could just give a bit of a bracha.
A bracha. The bracha, as we say, together we shall win. ביחד ננצח.
To get united.
It means us too.
I am so, from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful to you. It's been, ein milim, there are no words. Really, I'm extremely grateful that you waited for me to come. I'm so grateful, Rav. You should just have mazel and bracha, and it's been so special to be with you. Toda rabba im kol halev. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Toda rabba to you.
Thank you very, very, very much. Toda rabba.